We want to read you a statement just made by the President of the United States, and we want to warn you about its context and content because it's cruel in very unusual words from a President of the United States, and he's commenting on media figures here. I'm just going to read it to you. He goes, "I heard poorly rated Morning Joe speaks badly of me, don't watch anymore. Then how come low IQ Crazy Mika along with Psycho Joe came to Mar-a-Lago 3 nights in a row around New Year's Eve and insisted on joining me? She was bleeding badly from a facelift. I said no."
We've heard worse from him, and he still won the presidency as voters made a choice that between his opponent and him, they preferred him. And whenever you have a president win election doing whatever it is they did, they always figure that it worked, and so they're going to keep doing what works until it's proven that it doesn't work. Does it help him govern? No. Does it help him work with Democrats at some point? No. But I don't think that what we've seen from him indicates that that's really what he's interested in doing. I don't think that, given the tribal nature of our politics, that's what either of the parties are interested in doing.
This is objectively a statement from the highest office in the land, from the president, that objectifies women. This is a statement that is cruel. It attacks a woman's appearance. Councilman, you have been for a long time a big supporter of this president during the campaign, a defender of his. Can you defend this?
Well,
and what is your response to it?
Well, I'm not going to defend the personal nature of it, other than to say that this is certainly an indication that the war between the Trump administration and the media is certainly showing no signs of ending. I think he was telling the truth when he says he didn't watch the Morning Joe show, because if he had, there's a little bit of irony today in that Morning Joe was discussing on his program how the media had basically, he used the term willfully mistaken when he meant lying, but how the media had been essentially lying about the Trump administration for the last 18 months.
Can we just get back to, my question was about women, and I really want you to address it, because this is someone who has ran on being a powerful president, in his words, for women. His daughter, Ivanka Trump, said he will be great for women. She stands for and just wrote a book about working women. Is it okay for the president to say this about women?
Look, like I said, I'm not going to go into the personal insults. Maybe there's an inside story that we don't know about. I think this certainly didn't help. I mean, we know that this segment was slated to talk about health care, and instead of talking about health care, we're talking about these tweets. So
that's the president's fault.
Right. You're 100% right. And look, I'm not going to comment again on his particular insult, nor am I going to comment on Micah's little response.
You know, Selena Zito, hang on one second.
It's unpresidential. Why can't you just say it's unpresidential?
Look,
why can't you look at the president who's probably watching right now and say, knock it off?
These are the things that people said were unpresidential about the president when he was running for office, and yet here he is.
I was taught in grade school that 2 wrongs don't make a right. Look, these are rivals. These are MSNBC hosts. But everyone in the media should be standing up today saying, it's inappropriate for the president.
I think everyone might want to take a bit of Morning Joe's perspective and actually acknowledge that the media has also been at war with the Trump administration by not exactly telling the truth on many stories and going into Russian hysteria for 18 months.
Hang on one second, guys. Selena Zito, I want to get your take on this yesterday, because yesterday there was a discussion about the president commenting on a woman's smile. You defended that. Is this qualitatively different today, Selena?
Absolutely. I had former President Barack Obama in 2007 said something incredibly similar to me. I think we were in New Hampshire. I wasn't offended by that. Having said that, and as someone who is regularly attacked online for my looks or my hair, or and not on the content of what I report, I find that awful. Brian's right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. If you have a beef with someone, take it to that level as to what the beef is. But don't make it. Personal attacks are just they're repulsive. It's unpresidential. It's unfit for the office, and have your problems, whatever they may be, whether it's with the media, whether it's a rival, have it stay on that course, on the policy, or on the whatever the conflict may be. Certainly not on what someone looks like.
Maria Cardona, my producer, reminds me in my ear, importantly, about Ivanka Trump giving that interview just a few weeks ago to Fox and talking about what she called a level of viciousness, and the media said there's a level of viciousness that I was not expecting. He's a father of daughters. I'm the mother of a daughter. To all the parents out there, this attack on women and appearances, what is the country supposed to do with this?
I think the country should take a hard look at who they have elected as their commander-in-chief, leader of the free world, and president of the United States. I mean, the ironies are unending, Poppy, starting with Ivanka, who's, prides herself in being a defender of women, but yet she backs her father and blames everybody else for vicious attacks against him. She needs to take a look at her own house before she says anything. And then I actually feel bad for the First Lady, who supposedly wants to focus on an anti-cyberbullying program. She also needs to look inside her own house before she tries to preach to anybody else about what that should be. But here's the thing. Yes, we should all be outraged about what he said, but what makes us think that the man who in his life and in the campaign has acted like a misogynist, a sexist, a sexual predator, who has talked about women in an incredibly demeaning and objectifying way, is this really all that surprising that he would do this now, even sitting in the Oval Office? So yes, we should not normalize this. I applaud Selena for saying it the way it is. It is unacceptable, unpresidential. He should cut it out. Joseph, I wish, would get on that program too, because it is what decent human beings understand is what a decent human being should act like in the Oval Office. At the end of the day, what he proves yet again is that he is just not a decent human being.
Brian Stelter, what's NBC saying about this so far?
We do have a statement from the head of PR at the network we can put on screen. Quote, "It's a sad day for America when the president spends his time bullying, lying, and spewing petty personal attacks instead of doing his job." I do think it's worth noting, for the record, some of what Trump says is also factually inaccurate. I've been covering morning TV for a long time. I wrote a book about it. Joe, Mika, they are not psychos. They don't have low IQs. They did meet with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. The president says he didn't. They did meet. There's photos of them together. I hate to even have to say this, but there's no bandages, there's no blood on Mika's face. So beyond how offensive it is, it's also not accurate. I wonder what Melania is going to say to the president today. I wonder what Ivanka is going to say. I'm glad, Papa, you're making this about the gender part, among other pieces, because it does seem very gendered.
You didn't say it about Joe.
Scarborough is not. Yeah, Scarborough was the target, but it was only personal about Mika's appearance.
Meghan McCain, Senator John McCain's daughter, also works for Fox News. A conservative came out. Let's pull up what she said immediately after the president tweeted this. "I do not think making fun of a woman's look is acceptable. I get it every day of my life. I think that tweet is cruel and unpresidential." And then she went on to tweet additionally, "What does Ivanka think of this?" Councilman, do the women around the president who have spoken so much about female empowerment and respect, like Ivanka Trump and the First Lady, should they say something?
I think there probably will be some conversations based on this tweet in the White House and in the residence. And I think this is one of those times where probably the tweet would have been better served if he cut it off at a certain point. There is something to be said about the way the media treats the Trump and the Trump administration behind closed doors. I've seen that firsthand, how people discuss Sean Spicer in the green room and then come on camera, and when the cameras are on, he's the devil incarnate.
Well,
so there is some fairness to what he said. Again, he should have cut it off.
Well, we'll take your last part of that statement. He should have cut it off right there as speaking volumes. Joseph Borelli, Brian Stelter, Maria Cardona, Selena Zito, thank you all so much again.